Hi guys, I'm here today to do a TBR for March of the Mammoths, and I will leave a link in the description below to everyone that's hosting this event. And this is one of my favorite readathons to participate in, just because there's such an accomplishment with reading a book over 800 pages. And I was just looking through the books that I read last year, and so I wanted to give like a little recommendation before going into what my TBR is going to be. Just if anyone wants some ideas. And so the first one is Moving On by Larry McMurtry. I think I read this one for March of the Mammoths last year. And I know a lot of people probably gravitate more towards Lonesome Dove, but this is another one of his like really big books. And it's about a kind of like a failed marriage. And you follow the couple through all their different struggles with trying to make a living and decide what they want. They're young, so they want to decide what they're going to do with their life, and the woman kind of like just follows along with them as her husband is just trying to like grasp at straws to find a career, and their marriage like just falls apart. And so along with like following their marriage, you also get to see a lot of the West. And so yeah, this is one I would really recommend people try and pick up. And then another one that I read that I thought was really good was Reagan: An American Journey by Bob Spitz. And I don't really have a lot to compare it to because this is the only Reagan biography I've read, although I have several on like my TBR to get to. But yeah, this one was really good. It came out last year. And then the last one is The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. And this was just it's a fantasy novel, and it was just so different. I love this cover. There's dragons and dragon riders and like kings and queens and all sorts of mayhem. And yeah, this was just a fantastic book, along with a fantastic cover. And as far as my TBR goes, I'm going to be reading 5 books. And that's a lot considering I'm also participating in several other readathons in March, because everything's happening in March. But 2 of them I'm kind of cheating on because I've already read a bit in them. And the first one is A Big Wonderful Thing, A History of Texas by Stephen Harrigan. And I saw this at my library, and it was like ginormous. Like, so like, yeah, I need to read this on audio. And so I started listening to it in January, but I haven't gotten that far in. I'm just like an hour or so in, and I can't remember how many hours is on that audiobook, but I'm sure it's like 40 hours plus. So yeah, I'm going to be listening to this one. And then as far as like physical books, the other book I'm in the middle of, I'm kind of cheating on, is Cold Warriors, Writers Who Waged the Literary Cold War by Duncan White. And I was supposed to be reading a chapter a day, like to slowly work my way through. But as you can see, I am not very far in. I have not stuck to my read a chapter a day. So this is something I want to finish up in March. And it's following all different authors from the 1930s to the 1990s. Both on the Cold War and the U.S. side, and not only their writing that they were doing, talking about the Cold War, but their actions as well. There's spies, and like each chapter, how it ends, kind of ends on a cliffhanger, so it makes you want to keep going and learning more about their story. This is a very interesting book about. Because, I mean, I've read several of these authors, but I know very little about their life and what prompted them to write these stories. Thinking about George Orwell, for example. So yeah, this is just really fascinating to read about. It's making me want to pick up all of their books, because I haven't read half as much as I want to from these authors. Let's see. And then this next one is like, it's so heavy. It's Sand and Steel, The D-Day Invasion and the Liberation of France by Peter Caddick Adams. And it's like the special paper that they have. It's like a thick white paper. And so it makes it extra hefty. And this one I saw at my library. It just came out in 2019. But I've wanted to read Snow and Steel, but my library didn't have this one. So I'm like, I'll start with this one, Sand and Steel. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. And then also, this is a book I own that I've been wanting to get to, Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. And I know almost nothing about this story. I know time travel and like historical fiction, and that's it. I know nothing else. I've never seen the movie or anything. So yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about it. So I'm willing to give this one a try. And then another book that I own, it's like an old library copy, is Grant by Jean Edward Smith. And this is another book I've been meaning to get to, and because like of all the Grant biographies like on my TBR, this is the one I want to read the most. And so yeah, why not start with because I've never read a biography solely focused on Grant, and so like I want to start with the one that's highest on my list. And so yeah, this is going to be a good one. So yeah, those are all my plans for the Mammoths. Yeah, let me know what you're going to be reading for March of the Mammoths. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Booktube.